Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? So as promised in our daily financial news, which is something we do every day at 7:30 a.m. Pacific. If you like to get your daily financial news in little 10 to 12-minute chunks, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button. In our daily financial news, as I wrapped up, I highlighted that one of the things I wanted to do today was really dig into the Las Vegas real estate market. I've had discussions with Brian Lebo, who is a #1 broker out there and done great things on his channel and mine, where we talk about Las Vegas real estate. I think we've done that now 7 or 8 times. A lot of that discussion is around single family homes. But what I wanted to do was step back and really look at Las Vegas from an investment perspective. I don't think it's unfair to say that Las Vegas single family homes has been impressive. When you look at the numbers, Las Vegas has set records the last 3 months. Now you can argue it's all supply, meaning there is none. But regardless, Las Vegas single family homes have a median price now of 337 grand. But again, I wanted to look at that market and say, what's going to happen in 2021? What's going to happen from an investment perspective? Is that a market that is investable? Should you stay away from? What is going to go on? So what I've collected this morning is a bunch of data. I think the kind of net result is going to be there are going to be some markets inside kind of sub-markets in Vegas that continue to do extremely well. There will be some markets inside of Vegas that will start to feel pain and maybe have some opportunities. And then there are some parts of the market that, it's going to be too hard to tell. It's too many variables. What's going on with the health crisis? What's going on with the vaccine or treatments and all of that stuff. But let me share with you the data that I captured really to paint the picture of what I think is going to set up next year. So first and foremost, as of September, median price was 337 grand, a record. That is the third month in a row. Zillow is actually forecasting at this point 4.5% growth in value over the next 12 months, which I thought was interesting. Let's look at some of the data. Unemployment peaked in Las Vegas at 30%. That was in April. As of August, the last data that I could find, it was 13.2%. As we've talked about in our daily financial news, unemployment number is very dirty right now because what we're seeing is a lot of movement. For example, in much of the country, we are seeing women disproportionately taken out of the unemployment ranks. And because they're no longer looking for work, they're taking care of the kids at home. Another thing we are starting to see, because this has been going on so long, is people are rolling out of the 26 weeks of unemployment into the extra 13 weeks provided by the CARES Act. I think it is unfortunate that as you roll off the 26 weeks, you are no longer counted as unemployed in the current environment. I think that's going to be something to watch in Vegas, because I think there's going to be a lot of people in Vegas unemployed for more than 26 weeks, unfortunately. So I think the number is going to be very, very interesting. Something that is interesting in, again, Vegas, to paint the picture of why it is so unusual, is housing supply listings against current demand, 1.5 months of supply. We often hear people talk about 3 months supply and 6 months supply. Well, Vegas today, 1.5 months supply. You want to talk about supply constraints? That is it. Go back and watch some of the Brian Lebo interviews, and he actually breaks down the supply. I think it's under 250 grand, 250 to 500, 500 to 750, over $1 million, and then super luxury over 2.5. In all segments are seeing saturation, meaning supply and demand that are decreasing, right? So it's all very interesting stuff to watch. One piece of data that I did not have in the beginning, and sorry, my puppy is struggling. As I shared this morning, he's not feeling well. Say hi, Jimbo. Hi, Jimbo. Las Vegas is 51% owner occupied and 49% renter. That is an interesting number, right? Nationally, it's about 68-32. So Vegas specifically is 51% owner occupied and 49% renter. That is going to become a very important variable when we look for opportunities next year. Stay tuned. Something to point out is that Vegas, unlike California, is very landlord friendly. Historically, it's like Texas, where if you post a 3-day notice, you have 5 days to respond and get out. Now it is 7 judicial days, basically taking out Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. So it's a little bit longer, but nothing like California. Average rent as of September is $1,205. That's a little bit more than I expected, but not terribly higher. Again, median is at $337,000. But here's the deal. And again, one of the reasons that's going to be interesting about 2021, the median price in Vegas is, call it 350. The median price in California is 600. When you look at the median in SoCal and some of the markets people are leaving, it's over $1 million. So what you are seeing is California money racing to Las Vegas. It is very well known that Vegas has, or Nevada in general, has no state income tax, but also their property taxes are historically low on average. So again, lots of things going on. So when I think about where the opportunities are in Vegas heading into next year, I think we have to break the market down. And this is really with conversation with Brian Lebo first, single family homes. And you can hear it in our discussions with him last week where he was like, I can't believe the luxury market. And I think that is key. The luxury market, let's call it $1 million and above. I believe that portion of the market continues to be on fire. I believe all of 2021, you're going to see California and New York money going to Las Vegas. Let's also not be confused that the demographics favors Vegas. The baby boomers are getting to the age to retire. This health crisis can encourage people to retire maybe a year or two earlier than they thought. So in essence, I think the luxury market that Brian Lebo talks about, $1 million and above, continues to do very, very well. That said, that's not a market that you and I would look for investments. So it's not really an investable area. It's an owner occupant for sure. Now let's step back and look at where is the pain. When you look at the pain, there's a bunch of pain building in Las Vegas apartments. The last number I found in Las Vegas apartments is 15%, 15% of apartment tenants are not paying rent. That's a big number. And that number is growing. So it was 15%. I believe that was an August number. It's probably 18, 19, maybe 20% in September. That is going to be a problem, right? So that's going to make multifamily pain because right now, given the CDC orders, given income levels, they can't be evicted. So that's interesting. That means there are going to be some very frustrated landlords in multifamily. But what happens next year, right? So we get to January. Let's assume for now there's no extension with the CDC order, which I think is a risk because I think it does get extended. But given the data we have today, let's assume it's not. Well, I think rents get soft in Vegas. I think evictions go up, so expense goes up. And I think vacancies rise. If you want to see what the impact of that will be to multifamily, Jonathan Twomley and I did a video a couple of weeks ago called Just the Math. Take a look at that. I think multifamily assets in Vegas could be in for some significant pain as vacancies go up, expenses go up, and rents or top line go down. So I think multifamily is going to have some pain, especially for deals that were done in the last couple of years. But let's step down to residential, meaning fourplexes, triplexes, duplexes, or single family homes. I still think there's going to be some pain there. There are mom and pop investors who have properties. And again, if they happen to have tenants that maybe worked in the casinos, worked in entertainment, and they're not being paid today, and they're having non-payment, there could be some inventory coming up. And this really goes back to that data about 51% owning and 49% renting. I didn't know it was that high. I really do think there are some rental pain coming. And what that means is more inventory coming. I do believe the eviction moratorium, once finished, will create evictions. Evictions will lead to vacancies. Vacancies will lead to cleanup and sell. So I do think we're going to have some inventory coming on the market. Then there's the question about forbearance. Let's assume you're an owner occupant now, right? Maybe you own your own home, maybe you're house hacking a fourplex, whatever it is, and you have been getting forbearance. But just like the renters, you're out of work. You're in entertainment, the casinos, conferences, whatever that happens to be. I do think there's some inventory coming there as well. It's probably March, April, May timeframe. So I think in Vegas, we are going to see some rental units, some foreclosures or forbearance come on. But let's realize where we are in inventory. Inventory is 1.5 months. Appreciation has been very nice. So is it going to be really the forced liquidations we saw of the 08 crash? I don't think so. I think a lot of owners are going to have equity. I think a lot of banks will have a measured response to foreclosures. I think frustrated landlords will not sell dumps. They will sell clean properties, which mean owner occupants can buy. So I don't know. That market seems too tough to call. I think there will be some deals, but I think you really are going to have to be local. I think you're going to have to watch. You're going to have to react really fast. I don't think it's going to be like the 08 crisis that Brian and I have talked about where everything was 50% off. It's just not going to go there. But there is one market, one kind of sub-market in Vegas that I think the pain is already building. And I think it's a lot worse. Go back and watch our last interview with Brian Lebo, where we talked about, I think it was the Palms, where they have a condo tower where you can no longer get a loan. That's a big deal, right? The number of vacancies, number of people not paying the homeowners association or whatever they call it. That is going to be a growing problem. I believe, I'm confident that there will be opportunities to buy condo towers cheaply. I believe Brian in his last interview talked about the Palms already being down 30 or 40%. I think they were down from 320 to like 150. It'll be interesting to see how low those go because you have to buy cash. And you have to buy cash in a very uncertain market where you may not have any meaningful occupancy for another 12 to 18 months. So these are things that we have to think about and watch going forward. So in short, I think the luxury market keeps booming. I think the low tax state, I think the baby boomers leaving California and New York make Vegas a hot, hot market in the luxury, think $1 million and above. I think the apartment market is going to have some deals as cap rates expand, expenses go up, rents go down, vacancies up. I think there'll be some multifamily deals. Residential, meaning landlord houses through fourplexes, that's really tough to call. I think there will be some deals, but they're going to be you have to be very quick. I really think you're going to have to be local. And then finally, where are the deals if you have risk appetite? I think it is in the condo towers on the strip. I believe if you wanted to roll the dice and really say Vegas will be back in a couple of years, I think there's going to be some nice deals in the condo towers. So research in Vegas was interesting. It's not a market I've spent a lot of time in. I would say the most interesting stat I uncovered was the ratio of owners to renters. I didn't expect it to be like that. 51-49. Very different nationally, very different from the market I invest in today. So let me know what you think. Where do you think the opportunities are? When do you think they're coming? Let me know your thoughts. Take care.